everybody, and welcome to the 50-something episode of the MyMuddlings podcast. I think it's number 56. It's really hot today. I'm really hot. We are having our second day in a row of over 40-degree temperatures here in Adelaide. Tomorrow is going to be, I think, over 35, 38, something like that. So it's really hot. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen yesterday I was over at my mother-in-law's house. Today is Friday. I usually record Thursdays. I was over at my mother-in-law's house, and Granger and I, swam a lot of the day away, so that was lovely. And then Simon joined us in the afternoon, and we had a dip, and yeah, it was lovely to cool down. She also has air conditioning through her whole home, so that makes it a little bit more comfortable when you're inside as well. As I've mentioned before, my house only has air conditioning in the lounge room, and I have it going at the moment. I don't know if I mentioned that already. So if you can hear some sort of fan in the background, that's the air conditioner, and that is the only way I do not have sweat pouring down my face right now. I am a sweater and I hate it. Which is probably why I hate the hot weather, because I do sweat quite a bit. Yeah, so I'm going to try and keep it short today, because I don't know how long I can maintain sitting here being cheery in this heat, because I hate it. I need to do my cleaning shift this afternoon as well, and I'm really not looking forward to that. Although, on the plus side, we're going back to Simon's mum's place for dinner tonight, and the pool. Yay! So I can't wait to get back in that pool. And I'm sure Granger can't either, even though he is absolutely wiped today, because we well and truly tired him out yesterday. He slept incredibly soundly all night. We didn't hear from him at all. Sometimes he gets up and walks around the house just to find a more comfortable spot if he gets a bit hot or cold or whatever, and we did not hear him at all last night. I think he basically crashed, and that was it. I might pop the video that I have of Granger swimming in at the end of the podcast today, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can still enjoy the Granger goodness swimming in the pool. Alright, so I can't actually see my computer screen. Again, I am blind. I don't have my glasses on. So I think the first thing to talk about today is a little bit of housekeeping, which is just to announce again about the Whip It Good knit along that has, or make along, that has recently started on the 1st of January over in the MyMuddlings podcast Ravelry group. That is going on. We've had a few FOs being posted. We've had a bit of chat going on, so that's fantastic. So if you're wanting to get rid of some whips this year, please feel free to head over to the group. I'm happy for you to double dip in any other knit along that you're doing and that kind of thing. That is none of my business. I don't care what you do with your whips. Your FOs. So yeah, if you want to get rid of your whips and potentially win some prizes, please go join the MyMuddlings podcast Ravelry group and jump onto the chatter thread and start posting your FOs in the FO thread. So yeah, that's probably all I really need to talk about with that one. And I wanted to do just a few program mentions, just to give a bit of shout out to a couple of people, well, 3 people in fact. And the first one is Nat. I would like to thank her so much. Nat reached out to me, and because she had noticed that I have been wearing Jamboree nail wraps, and she was very, very kind to offer. She has had a rather large collection of Jamboree nail wraps that she wasn't using, and she said she wouldn't use, so she offered to send them to me, which is fantastic. Thank you so much, Nat. I really appreciate it. So I do have some on at the moment that she gave me, but they've begun to peel off. But these were some Little Mermaid Disney ones that she sent along. So there were some scales. Both of my index fingers did have basically Ariel's tail on them. My nails clearly aren't long enough to get her whole body in them, but yeah, I really enjoyed wearing these ones, and I've gotten nearly a week out of them, including some house cleaning and things, so they're doing pretty well, and being in the pool for 2 days running. But yeah, thank you so much, Nat. I have so much fun, like, just going through all of the wraps and deciding which ones I want to wear on whatever day that I put them on. The problem is, unfortunately, I don't get a huge quality use out of them, because I often have my hands in water with the dyeing and cleaning and things like that. So yeah, I have to be really careful with when I put them on, just so that I can get the absolute maximum use out of them. But yes, thank you so much, Nat. I really, really appreciate it. It was such a thrill to get your parcel in the post. Next up, I want to give a shout out to Katie from Knit and Stitch Bits on Etsy. I purchased a couple of items from her last week, I think it was, and she is a lovely bag maker. So I wanted to show off what I had purchased from her. I saw this one and I knew I had to have it, because, you know, they're kind of the woodland animals. If you remember, my one of my Christmas kits had the woodland animals on the bags. So I saw this fabric and I just had to have it. I think there was a little bit of a possible fight over this one. I was trying to get PayPal to work on Etsy, and for some reason PayPal was having a fit, and I was checking back in my cart just to make sure that my items were still there, and it said that this one was in 2 other people's carts, and I was like, I want that bag so much, and then I couldn't get PayPal to work. So then I'm like, oh well, I've got my credit card stored in Etsy, and then I tried to charge it to that, and then it's like, please confirm your credit card number, and I don't know my credit card number off by heart, so I had to scramble to get my wallet. But yes, I ended up getting this bag, and I love it. It's so well made. It's just got, both of the bags that I've got have like a polka dot grey lining, so it's super well made. It's really, I don't know what she puts in this, but it's like, it's flexible but still padded. And I kind of think I'm going to have to sort of figure out what she's put in there, Katie. Figure out what she's put in there and potentially add that to my bags, because I really like the loftiness and even though it's still flexible, it's a little bit squishy, just to give it that extra little bit of protection. So that was the first bag that I got, and these were her medium wedge bags, both of the ones that I've got. And the second one was this super awesome, I'm not sure what the actual pattern is, but they look very much like Kimmy dolls. I have a very small collection of Kimmy dolls, and that's exactly what these look like, so I had to have this one. And it's pinks and greys and the little Kimmy dolls. And if you're not sure what Kimmy dolls are, I've got some just over next to me. I'll grab them and I'll show them to you. So these are the 2 big Kimmy dolls that I have. So as you can see, they are quite similar to the little ladies in kimonos on the bag. So yeah, I saw that fabric and I'm like, have to have that fabric, because I love my Kimmy dolls. Hi. Just putting the dolls back on our coffee table. So yes, and as part of that, she actually sent through a 3rd bag for me to give away to all of you guys. So excuse the crinkling, it is in a plastic bag just to protect it. But she sent through one of her large wedge bags. So this, guys, is huge. This is so big. You could easily fit a sweater in here, or a very large shawl, you know, that's potentially been knit from very, like, you know, DK up sort of weight yarn. And again, it has the polka dot lining, and it's a nice sort of canvas or something. I think it looks like it's woven, you know, like true, like the weaving that you get off your looms. I'm not a weaver, as you can tell. So yes, Katie has sent through this bag so that I can give it away to one of my lucky viewers. So this will probably end up being part of the prize at the end of the Whip It Good knit along, I think. So if you'd like to win this bag, you better get some FOs into that thread. So thank you very much, Katie, for that. I really appreciated that, and I love my bags. I don't think Etsy is quite letting me leave feedback just yet, but I will when it lets me. And the 3rd shout out I wanted to give was to my mother-in-law, Rosalie. So as you can tell, I get on quite well with my mother-in-law, which is a blessing in itself, in and of itself. And she recently went on a cruise, which I did mention, I think, on my Vlogmases, for Christmas she went on a cruise, and she ended up in New Zealand when she was on said cruise. And while she was there, she went to a shop somewhere, I don't know where, I don't know that much, but she said, do you want some of this yarn? And I'm like, ooh, what yarn is it? And she said, it's possum yarn. And I was like, oh, I haven't tried possum before. I've been really wanting to try it. So she got me a skein of possum blend yarn. So I said to her, you know, she sent a picture of the wall of all the shelves with all of the yarn on it, and she was going to get me something pink, and I said, well, I think I spied like a tealy, purpley, blue skein, and she sent through a picture of this one, and I said, yes, that's perfect. So it's actually a really good yardage on this. So the wool is touch, and it is 60% merino wool, 30% possum fur, and 10% silk. So yes, it's very soft. It's got this lovely halo. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it's got a beautiful halo. That's probably from the possum, I imagine. Yeah, it is 420 meters or 459 yards. So I have no idea what I'm going to make out of this, but I could get a fairly decent shawl, I guess, out of, you know, 460 odd yards. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out and decide what I want to make from that. But yeah, I was really chuffed to get that. She gave that to me the other day when I was over. So yeah, that's my shout outs. Thank you so much to everybody who's given me little gifts and even sent through things for you guys. So thank you so much. All right, let's get on to some FOs. Now I have another FO for you this week, and it is some socks. More socks. These are socks that I have knit. I was originally knitting them for myself because I wanted to show you guys what my micro stripe dyed yarns. I've been doing a lot of those. They've been extremely popular with you guys. Thank you so much. The micro stripe dyed yarn that I have been doing. So you can see there, try not to get too much shadow from the camera. Yeah, it just micro stripes of a line or two as you knit. So these ended up being for my mother-in-law because she saw the yarn in its skein form of this colourway, which is one of my colourways. This is Violet Leopard. And yeah, she saw this and said, oh, I like this, and because I was knitting socks, and this is on my glitzy base. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. It's very sparkly in the sun because I finished these yesterday when I was sitting in the Balinese hut that Rosalie's got beside her pool, and they were very sparkly in the sun. So yeah, so in the end, because I think I was only about the heel on the first sock when I decided I was going to give them to her. Her birthday was on Tuesday, so I'm going to give these to her tonight. She's seen them already, so she knew that they were coming, so yeah, she didn't seem worried about spoiling the surprise. So yeah, these are just my vanilla sock a la Lovebird Lane pattern that I have up on Ravelry with my Fish Lips Kiss heel. And she's a size 7, so she's a little bit smaller foot than me. So I've got I think I've got 39 grams left out of my skein, and the 41 grams was 267 yards. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with these. I really like the way the heel turned out. Just because it starts to pull, but I guess the toe's a little bit the same. But yeah, these knit up exactly how I was expecting to have that micro stripe go through, so I'm pretty happy with that. And my usual sock, you can download the pattern right now from Ravelry if you want any more details. And yeah, that's my one FO for this week. On to some work in progress. Now, living in my Knit and Stitch Bits bag is my featherweight cardi, because it needed a project bag, and now it has one. So I've done a little bit on this. I haven't done a ton. I ended up getting, let's have a look at the other armhole. I ended up getting, yeah, probably 2.5-ish inches down from the armhole here. and I have picked up and started knitting the first sleeve. So a little bit tangled here. So how far out down am I? Yeah, I'm probably, you know, getting on to 2 inches down on the sleeve. My gauge obviously is different knitting in the round, and funnily enough, my not my gauge, but just the consistency of my stitches. I don't know if you can see, but the consistency of my stitches is so much better in the round than it is. I can see through the back here, that's where I've started going in the round, because this looks really quite consistent and this is really inconsistent. I was thinking of going up a needle size to do the sleeves, simply because, you know, your pearls tend to use a little bit more yarn. But looking at the stitches, it's a little hard to tell because the ones that are in the round are far more consistent. But looking at the size of the stitches, it's pretty close. I don't think it's going to make a big difference. And then once I block it and get the rest of the cardigan, the stuff that's been knit flat, when I get that blocked and a little bit more evened out, I'm sure it'll work itself out. It's fine. So yeah, I haven't done a ton. I basically did this whole sleeve in one sitting, what I've done so far, one night watching telly, and yeah, not a lot to write home really about it. It's just stocking it in the round. I'm still enjoying this, don't get me wrong, but with going to Rosalie's to swim and things like that, I haven't had a lot of time to sit at home and knit, and this isn't, because I've got both ends of the ball. I don't know if you can see the two strands, because it is lace weight, because I've got, yeah, 2 ends of the ball attached to this. I've not really wanted to take it out to save things like tangles and that kind of thing. So yeah, unfortunately this week I haven't had a lot of time to knit on this, but yes, I have started a sleeve. So it is getting there. And I only have one more work in progress because, as I say every time, you cast off one pair of socks, you cast on another. And I had a suggestion from Jude, who has been my stallmate at a couple of markets and is the 7th girl now on Ravelry, and that is also her Etsy shop. She is a yarn dyer. Said that she would be interested to see how my street art colourway knit up. So, as it's the only base out of my new ones, apart from, well, my sock base, let's say, it's the only base that I haven't tried out of my new supply of bases that I have got in. I thought I would dye some up and knit it. So this is what street art looks like caked up. And I do have another skein here, so the speckles aren't quite the same as last time, but as is the nature with speckles, it's very hard to replicate. Yeah, so that is street art caked up, and this is on my sheepy sock base, which is a 75% BFL, 25% nylon. And I started knitting these up yesterday afternoon because I finished Rosalie's socks, and as I thought, they are spiral pulling. So it creates kind of like a stripe. I'm only just starting the stockinette after the ribbing, so you probably can't see a ton. I'm interested to see how the pattern's actually going to change now that I'm in stockinette, because like I said just before, when you're purling, you tend to add just a little bit extra yarn. That's why ribbing stretches, is because you've just got that little bit extra yarn in your pearls. So now that I'm just knitting all the way around, I'm really interested to see how that spiraling potentially is going to change. So yeah, I'm not very far. My first sock, I've just finished the cuff, so not a whole lot to write home about that. And as for the yarn, because I said I hadn't knit with this base yet, and it's exactly what I was expecting. I always find the BFL sock yarns, they're just that little bit more rustic, a little bit I wouldn't say crunchy, but like it does have more of a crisp feel to it, and I personally really love that in socks. I don't trust soft sock yarns on the whole, because the softest sock yarn I think I've ever knit with is Knit Picks Felici, and I have mentioned before how I find that felts really quickly. Even though it's superwash, it peels really quickly. So I don't particularly trust super soft sock yarn. So I really love a nice, sturdy, crunchy, rustic feeling sock yarn, and I seem to trust that a lot more. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Because my speckles didn't end up exactly the same as the first batch, it's not knitting up how I thought. Like, it's not as speckly, shall we say, because there was a lot more pink in the first batch that I did, so there's more blue and green in this one. But that's fine, that's the nature of hand-dyed yarn, isn't it? So I'm really excited to see where this goes on as I get down to the leg and the heel, and to see how that pooling sort of changes, if it changes. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. So there you go, Jude. That is how the cuff is knitting up on Street Art. So that's all my works in progress. As was my intention for this year, was to be more monogamous with my projects and get things done and off the needles. So yeah, I have my big project, I have my little project. So that is it for the knitting. I believe now I can go on to shop update. There will be a very small shop update this week because the weather, hello, I don't want to be over steaming pots. I do have some, they're all Fancy Feet colorways, so they're all on sock bases to be knit into socks. I mean, you could always knit them onto something else, but yeah, I don't know how that will work. I'm sure it'll pool and flash and things like that, so of course you can always do that. So as I said, I'm going to have a skein of Street Art available. So as you can see, there's not quite as much pink in this version. There's more green in here and some blue and speckles, so it's still pretty speckly. So this is on my Swindon sock base, so I'll have one of those in the shop. Next up, these other two have not been named as yet, because that's always the hardest thing for me. I am terrible at naming things, but this next one is a blue. So this one will, all these three that I've done this week will spiral pull much like what Street Art looks like, what I've just shown you. So these ones are blue on the end, and then I have black, yellow and pink speckles up the other end. So I have one of these on Swindon, which is this one, which is my 80/20 sock base, and I've got one on Plush Sock, which is my 80/10/10 merino cashmere nylon. And finally, I have these two. I've decided I want to dye with more teal, because teal is really a big favourite of mine as a colour, and I love the way teal looks with purple, so I'm wanting to dye more with teal this year. So again, this is a spiral puller like Street Art. So it's teal one end, and then it's speckles of violet and sort of a fluoro green and salmon up the other end. It's like a salmon. It's not a orange as such. It's a little more on the pink side. So I have one on Glitzy Sock, which is that one, and again one on Swindon. So I'm going to have my shop update at a different time this week because, as I said, it's Friday. I'm going out tonight for, you know, Rosalie's belated birthday dinner, so I'm going to be a little bit busy at 7 o'clock tonight, which is when I would normally have my shop update. So I have decided to do it tomorrow, so it's going to be Saturday in Adelaide time, Saturday 11 AM Australian Central Daylight Savings Time. So if you do want to grab any of those Fancy Feet skeins, that will be the time to do it. So I will be sharing on Instagram just to give you a bit of a reminder. So yeah, that's that. And I guess I could talk a little bit about a bit of blather. Not a ton apart from the swimming and things like that has happened this week. I finally cleaned my house because I hate cleaning and I'd much rather be dyeing yarn and knitting. But yes, I finally cleaned my house this week, which made me feel so much better. So I'm going to try and instigate that as a regular thing, because that's what you do. You adult, you know, that's what happens when you get to my age. Yeah, so I cleaned the house, and I've been just trying to keep the animals cool. I mean, obviously Granger's coming swimming with us, and he's of his own accord now. Last summer, or the last time we took him swimming, we had to coax him into the pool. He did not do it on his own, but now he basically just jumps in with all 4 feet when he gets hot, wanders around for a bit on the step up the end, and then jumps back out again. And if he wants us to throw one of his toys, he'll come and dump it at us, and clearly that means he wants to go for a swim, so we throw it up into the water. He's pretty hilarious. So last night he developed this thing where he was basically like cry barking at the toy, and we're like, just dive in and get the toy. Like, why are you yelling at the toy? Which was pretty funny. It had me in fits of giggles. Like, I couldn't even speak. Simon was trying to encourage him to come up because we were sitting up the end where the steps into the pool were, and Simon was trying to get him to come up to the steps and get into the water and go and get the toy, or even jump into the pool from where he was to get the toy. But no, he's just standing there like crying and barking and, you know, talking as he does at this toy, which is just hilarious. I lost it. So yeah, that's been fun to go swimming, because I'm a water baby anyway. I used to swim a lot when I was a kid. Pretty sure I went through State Swim, which is a place here in Adelaide. I don't know if it's Australia-wide, but definitely here, where kids get taught to swim, and you go up through the levels and things like that. And I think I was just about to start doing the racing, so I got up to the racing sort of level, but it was taking up a lot of time, and it was like, I think up to 5 days a week I had to go swimming, and it was just interfering with things like schoolwork and that kind of thing. I just decided I didn't want to do it, you know, as a 12-year-old kid does. But yeah, I used to swim a lot. It's probably the fittest I've ever been in my life. So yeah, for me to go swimming, I love it, because I'm just such a water baby. I just love being in the water. I don't like the beach. I don't go in the ocean, but if there's a pool, I would like to be in it, please. So yeah, I've been enjoying going swimming. I should do it as a regular thing, just as my exercise even. Just go down to Rosalie's pool and do some laps and that kind of thing, because I guess I do a lot of walking. I walk most every day, but I think swimming, it's like a different fitness. So, you know, different type of fitness, different muscles getting used in different ways. So yeah, I should really do more swimming, because I do love it. So yeah, and then probably the only other thing really that's happened this week, which was super exciting, is my lovely friend Jess, who is the Sweater Collective. She invited me to tag along to her knit night that she and some friends have every few weeks. I think it's a little bit over the place at the moment, because one of our friends, Cassie, is going overseas, so I don't think Cassie watches the podcast, but I will put it out there. Hi Cassie, I hope you enjoy your trip. I hope it's fantastic. She is going to America, and she'll be going to New York, and she was telling us how she's going to go and buy some Brooklyn tweed, and which is pretty exciting. So I've made some lovely new friends at knit night, and it's actually my very first knit night, I think. I don't think I've ever had, I mean, I've knit in places where there's been other knitters, but nothing that scheduled we are going to get together and knit. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed it. There were some lovely, lovely ladies, so I'm looking forward to going next time. And thank you, Jess, for introducing me to the knit night. I had a great time, and it was lovely to meet everybody. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I've got to do some photography of my yarns that I've just shown you so that I can get them up in the shop, so I need to do that this afternoon before I head off to cleaning and off to my swim. Oh, I can't wait. I'll be counting down the minutes to get back in that pool. But yes, so I think I'll stop here and I'll do some editing. And I really would love to thank all of you for tuning in today. I know there was a lot of tangents, but I mean, what else do you tune in for? If you tune into the MyMuddlings podcast, you've got to expect those tangents, right? So yeah, I thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'd like to wish you all a super happy, safe, crafty week. And I hope that you have a wonderful time and that you're staying cool if you're somewhere hot and you're staying warm if you're somewhere cold. And I will catch you all next week. Take care. Bye.
Can you put it down? Good boy. No, put it down. Tuck. 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 Good boy. All right, you ready? You ready? All right. What you got, bud? Woohoo! Good job! Tuck, you want to do it again? Tuck, tuck, tuck. Come on. Tuck, tuck. Come on, buddy. Put it down. Tuck, tuck. Good boy. You ready? Good boy. Yeah. Good boy.